Hey guys, welcome back to a quick impressions video to discuss a game that was released recently, and it was a very fun one and short one for the Nintendo Switch, and it's none other than Cruis'n Blast, a game that follows the Cruis'n series of racing games. I believe this is the 6th entry, and this game in particular is based on the 2017 arcade racer, which I personally did not even know it existed. That's how much I'm out of touch with arcades and so forth. But I do have a lot of fun memories with the Cruis'n series in general. I'm a huge fan of the original, I guess, Nintendo 64 games and the original arcade racer. In fact, Cruis'n USA for the N64, it's one of my favorite games for the system, and I still have, as you guys can see here, the cartridge and the box and all that. I have a lot of fond memories of this. I'll probably replay this just to do a separate impressions video because I do have a lot of memories that I want to share with Cruis'n USA, the first one here that was released for the N64 and the arcades. And I also had a lot of great memories playing Cruis'n World, and I believe Exotica was the third one. And then they released a couple of kind of like forgettable entries on the Game Boy Advance, and of course we have this stinker right here for the Wii, Cruis'n, which was a very a very forgettable game. But we're here to talk about the latest entry, which is Cruis'n Blast. It was licensed by Nintendo and developed by Raw Thrills. I think that's the name of the studio, comprised of former Midway employees, which makes sense. Midway was in charge of doing the arcade games back in the day, so Raw Thrills, I guess they have some experience in creating the Cruis'n games, and they did a fantastic job. Like, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought, based on the previous entry on the Wii, I thought this may be a weak racing game, but this hits all the right notes in my opinion. It's a very fun, and it's what I like to call it, it's a stupid fun game, in the sense that it's very easy to pick up and play. It's your typical arcade racing game where gameplay is just all over the place. The cars themselves, they control pretty well, so no complaints in that department. And every single car that you pick, they may have slight differences. Some of them might be heavier than others, but they all control really well. And the goal is just to finish first. The higher you place, the more money you get, and you can use the money to buy upgrades for your car. So I started playing this on easy, just to do an easy, I guess, job of unlocking the gold medals and getting the keys to unlock more vehicles. So I managed to get gold in every single track. I think there's a total of 24 tracks separated into maybe 6 different circuits or something like that. And it was fairly easy to do it on easy, but now that I'm playing on normal, obviously the difficulty stepped up a little bit. In terms of the story, obviously there's no story in this game. In terms of graphics, as I mentioned, this game has very colorful. And for the most part, the game does that just fine. You may get some, I guess, drop in frame rates when you try to use the boost, and when there's a lot of, I guess, other vehicles on the screen. But for the most part, this game targets 60 frames per second, and it's pretty smooth in terms of the I guess, frame rate. And again, the graphics are very crisp, very colorful, and I was actually surprised at some of the graphical, I guess, effects. Some levels have reflections. If there's like water, if there's like puddles of water or ponding, and in the roadway, in the street, you can see reflections of the actual lights. Some levels go all the way out with neon lights and different effects such as fireworks, explosions, different colored lights, and so forth. This game is not ashamed of using a lot of colors and effects that really add to the experience and to the fast-paced nature of the game. Soundtrack-wise, this game is the main theme of the game. Very Cruis'n-like, with just a very pleasant, I guess, title or soundtrack intro, if you will. So yeah, it's pretty good for this game. And then of course gameplay is where the game I think excels. All the cars controlled pretty well. The game itself is pretty short. I played all the tracks I want to say maybe in an hour or two, you can experience all the tracks in the game. And unfortunately, even though I said there's 24 tracks, a lot of them are like repeated versions of themselves. They just have slight variations in terms of the themes, which is something that I thought it was pretty unique in this game. The Grand Prix or the circuits are divided into events. Another one has a chopper attacking you and following you throughout the circuit. Another one is themed with storms, like weather and storms. So you have all these tornadoes like chasing you throughout the different tracks. So a pretty unique twist in setting up the game for you. And I thought it was a fresh experience, and I kind of enjoyed it. As I mentioned, there's variation in the tracks. So you have 24 tracks, but a lot of them are somewhat repeated. Surprisingly, some of them are extremely short. And you do get a boost, nitro boost. I think you get up to 3 of them. You can buy additional ones with money if you want. And then of course you have upgrades that you can perform to your car. And I think this is where the replay value kind of extends for this game. Like if you were to buy every single upgrade for every single car, you're gonna have to spend upwards of, in my opinion, 15 to 20 hours, I think, in order to unlock every single power up for every single vehicle in the game. So I think that's kind of like the incentive, in my opinion. If you want to have all the paint jobs, all the different, accessories for the cars and upgrades, you're going to be spending a lot of time replaying the game over and over. It's a bit of a shame in the sense of online play. There's no online play, which could be, I think, something to help replay the game even more to get more money and all the upgrades. You can play, I believe, local, like couch, versus mode, if you will. But my understanding is that there's no online for this game, which is a shame in terms of the replay. The unlockables is where this game is a cruising game at its finest. And this is something that I've enjoyed ever since the original Cruis'n USA game. Kind of like the wackiness of the different cars that you can choose. For example, in the original Cruis'n USA, I remember I had so much fun. You can choose like either a Ferrari or a school bus, for example. So, but the school bus has almost the same top speed as the Ferrari. So I thought the over-the-top nature and craziness in the selection of cars and vehicles was something really funny throughout the course of the different games in the Cruis'n series. But Cruis'n Blast takes that concept to a whole new level. In this game, you can race with regular cars, and some of them are licensed. You have like a Nissan GTR, you have a Chevy Camaro, you have a bunch of Corvettes, both like old Corvettes and the new one. You have the new upcoming Hummer EV, the electric Hummer, and then you have the crazy over-the-top vehicles, such as you can unlock a helicopter, you can unlock a freaking dinosaur, motorbikes, a Formula One car. So by the time you unlock all these crazy vehicles, you can have yourself competing. You can have a Corvette versus a dinosaur, and then versus a helicopter, which is, in my opinion, I get a kick out of that. It's in the arcade nature of this game, and I get a crack, I'll laugh every time I play the different races. To top all of that, the tracks themselves are also crazy, wacky, with different elements. As I mentioned, you have weather effects, you have different environmental things that happen, and in my opinion, the coolest ones are the drop-offs. Like you would have sections in the tracks where you go off a ramp and you see a volcano. You have like this huge drop that is like a mile long, and your car is just floating down the track. So incredibly over-the-top jumps and drop-offs and explosions, and helicopters chasing you and dinosaurs flying by you, and giant creatures and all of that. So this game just takes the craziness to a whole new level compared to previous entries in the series, and I absolutely love that. So if you guys are fans of arcade types of racing games that don't take themselves too seriously, I say definitely try Cruis'n Blast. I was actually surprised by my subscription feed. A lot of YouTubers had a lot of positive things to say about this game, which kind of warmed my heart a little bit, because I have a soft spot for the cruising games, in my personal opinion. And it was pretty cool to see YouTubers out there like Pete Dorr, Metal Jesus Rocks, the immortal John Hancock. A lot of YouTubers basically had nothing but good things to say about this game, and I think the definitive consensus is that this is a stupid fun game, that it's very easy to pick up and play, and it's a very fun game just to have in your collection to play in short bursts and have fun, just enjoying the craziness of both the tracks and the vehicles that you can get in the game. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all later. Take it easy.